Hey, welcome back to the channel. It has been a while and I've actually made this video a couple times, and one time it had just some audio glitches in it, and I can't remember what the problem was the other time, but anyways, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to try to keep it short. The subject is it easy to make friends when you retire overseas? And I think it's subjective in terms of the kind of person you are, and I think it's subjective in terms of where you actually retire, and also not just in terms of the country, but where within that country you retire. I think it's different if you retire in a city versus the province, etc. So I can only talk about my experience. Let me first talk about just my experience back in the United States in terms of the ease or difficulty of making friends. I've always been a person who's had very, very few close friends, but a lot of acquaintances. Like it's been the nature of my life in terms of the kind of work I do, which I haven't really talked about, but so it's a mystery. But I have, I've been doing what I've been doing for 40 years, and so I have thousands of acquaintances, and many of those acquaintances I consider to be friends in that if I happen to have lived in that city for a while, because I've moved around a lot, I socialize with those people. If I'm back in that city, we get a drink or get some food or something together. And there are just a lot of those people in my life. People who I would call friends, but it's that kind of borderline friend acquaintance. It's not somebody who I keep up with on a day-to-day basis or would ever think to necessarily just call out of the blue, so, and probably wouldn't confide in. Gossip with maybe, but confide in is different. So, but I've always had that. I've always had that kind of core group, a friend that I've known since grade school, and then a few other people I've known for many years. What happened, I think, like when COVID hit, was that in the town that I live in, the city I live in, a lot of those people moved. So the people I was friends with in that particular place, they just decided it was an opportunity to try to kind of do something, to take a risk, to move to a different city, to move to a bigger city, to try a different job. And so the core people that I had in that particular city pretty much all left. And it left me in kind of a strange place that when things started opening up again and people started going out, I was in my late 50s. And so part of it's on me, where it's like I didn't really have the energy to invest in, like, okay, I need some some good friends again. Mostly because I knew that I would be retiring soon and that I would be leaving, and it just seemed like a lot of energy to put into that. But also, I think, the few times I would go out and try to socialize or try to meet people, I think, and this is just my opinion, I think in the United States, people kind of silo themselves off by certain things. They silo themselves off by age, that you kind of socialize within your age group. I think sometimes we silo ourselves off by the kind of occupation we have, certainly politics. And I also think socioeconomics is that we tend to kind of socialize within our own social class. And so it gets difficult, I think. And I feel like the older you get, the harder that gets, because we're kind of more entrenched in our silos. Here, and this is true of my experience in Vietnam, it's true of my experience in Thailand, not so much Singapore, but I wasn't traveling solo when I was in Singapore. I was traveling with somebody, so it's a little bit different. It's definitely true here, where every day I could meet somebody, and most days I do meet people, and it's kind of staggering. It's almost like, to be honest, I meet more people than I can socialize with. I mean, right now I have 3 messages from different people who I was supposed to get together with or have coffee with or drinks with. And I've been sick for the last week. So I haven't been able to do that. And I just haven't been able to kind of catch back up with those people. But the thing about being in a place like this, which is that you are the outsider. And that works for both types of friendships that you have. The locals often will ask me about myself and I just kind of want to know where I'm from, what am I doing here, how long am I going to be here. And I've made good friends with a handful of locals. I would say my best friend in town is from here, grew up here. And she's the sort of person who, if I'm sick, and she knows I've been sick, she checks on me every day to make sure I'm okay. She's, she suggests things for me in terms of, like, oh, don't go to this place, don't go to this pharmacy, go to this pharmacy. She has the inside knowledge of where to go, what to do, how, like if I'm paying too much for something. Like the generosity and warmth is genuine. She wants nothing in return. She's done favors for other friends of mine, like house sitting, taking care of their cats. And yeah, even just last night, the house sitters had returned, the people who live in the apartment returned and brought her a gift, and she just kept saying, and she told me later afterwards, she was just like, I told them you didn't have to get me anything, I was happy to do it. I know if you go on like message boards, expat message boards, there's just a lot of cynicism about people in general. And it's like, you know what, like every place has people you need to be careful of, and you need to, like make sure that you're not getting scammed or whatever. I mean, that's like every place in the world. So, but I think like if you're a good judge of character or a decent judge of character, it's like you know when somebody's being genuine as opposed to trying to scam you. So, but then also as the outsider, all the foreigners, all the people from other countries who are living here want to talk to you too. Not all, but it's like I've met people from kind of everywhere. And of those, again, it's like I feel like I have this large group of acquaintances and people who I socialize with or have a beer with or something, or have coffee with. But among those, I've made some very, very close friends within this 5-month period that I've been here. And interestingly, it's not dictated by age. It's not dictated by socioeconomics. It's not dictated necessarily by occupation, although sometimes it is by interests. So, if you have mutual interests of some kind, I'm a huge film buff and a huge film person, and so I've met some people who share that. They're in their 30s, late 30s, and we get together and watch movies once a week. And it's just I never do that with anybody back in the United States at this point in my life. I'm sure there are points in my life where I have, but yeah, it's just the social thing. It's like, hey, I want to have a movie night. You want to come over and watch something, and it's like it's just so refreshing. I mean, I feel kind of like I have a pretty full schedule here in terms of socializing and having a social life. And there's some days where it's like I just, I tend to, I've always been like this, do a lot of things alone, go to the movies alone, go to restaurants alone. But, and it doesn't cross my mind back in the US. I mean, occasionally if it's like a work thing or somebody, where you're just it feels sometimes more kind of obligatory, where you're like, hey, I want to get coffee so we can talk over this thing, whatever, so I do a lot of that kind of stuff back in the US. But Here, you know, there are a couple times recently where it's like, you know, I wouldn't mind like just having lunch with somebody, you know. So I just contact somebody and say, hey, I'm gonna go get some lunch. Do you want to meet me at such and such place or whatever? And we meet up and have a good lunch or have coffee. So it's a vastly different experience. I haven't found any difficult meeting people. I was in Cambodia for a week last month. I met a lot of people there, both people living there, expats living there, and people just passing through who seem like cool people who I feel like our paths will probably cross again at some point because they're kind of traveling around right now. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like, it's where I feel like in the United States, I feel like my life is kind of winding down in some ways when I'm there. Or every day seems kind of the same. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go get lunch here. I'm gonna go get coffee afterwards. I can go get some groceries after coffee, go home, do some work, whatever. I mean, it's like I have a pattern, and the pattern gets really dull and stale. And one of the things here that I will say that I do is that if somebody offers something where they say, hey, there's, you know, New Year's Eve, you know, we're gonna go out, we're gonna go to Riverside, or we're gonna do this, or there's a boat party, a Christmas party on a boat, do you wanna go? And I try to just tell myself to, you know, unless I'm not feeling well, to just say yes. Even if it's something I might normally not do, or some place I might normally not go, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So a couple things that this has led to here is that it's put me in a kind of a social circle where in one instance I've been asked to host this event. I'm not going to say what the event is, but it's a fun social event. And I've done that twice. It's a bar that has an event that they do twice a week, and they have kind of rotating hosts. And so I've been asked twice to do that, and it's fun. And that also allows me to meet more people. And then there's a project that I've begun working on with a couple of people here that may turn into a bigger project, which may mean that I have to, if it gets to the next stage, I may actually have to change my visa to a work visa. I'll know that next month, I think, or not next month, in March. I should know that by March. But it's the kind of project I've been wanting to do pretty much all my life, and it taps into my own interest. It taps into what I do for a living, and I saw an opportunity here to potentially do this project and to spearhead it. It taps into a lot of different things that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And it's just kind of invigorating. It's the opposite of what I feel back in the United States right now, which is this kind of stasis. I think that's the thing. It's like stasis. To me, I always have this like New Year's motto, or New Year's, instead of like saying like what I'm gonna do for the year, I usually have like a little reminder that stasis is death. You know, when you're not doing anything, you're not moving ahead, you're not pushing yourself, you're not engaged in some sort of activity, and it doesn't have to be money making. It could be artistic, it could be personal fulfillment of some kind. But if you're not doing something, that's death to me. And so here I feel the opposite. I feel invigorated. I feel like I have a lot of life left. A lot of things I can still do that I felt were kind of closing off to me back in the States. So that's, you know, to answer the question, can you make friends here? Is it easy to make friends here? Again, subjective, but I would say yes, and based on friends I know here, people I know here, they also have similar experiences. But I'm loving it. I'm having a great time, which is one of the reasons why it's been difficult to make videos, because I haven't really had that much time. So, but I do hope to, there are a couple other videos I want to make soon. I'm going to be going to Laos soon, and I'm going to be going to Thailand. So stay tuned. Thanks to all the new subscribers. Okay, thanks.